Now, finally, for the Manchester part of this cohort, we have Team Natureley.
Hi everyone, and thank you for coming to see our presentation. So we are Jay, Catherine, Ian, Salah, and Heather. Together we are Team Natureley. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is our app, Natureley, creative as ever. So it's all about nature and about going out on a walk and seeing something, whether it's a swan on a lake or a nice tree, taking a picture and sharing that with other people. You can add your picture to the map and show other people exactly where you saw it in case they want to go and see it. Maybe you like badgers and you want to go to an area full of badgers. We've got you covered. We're inspired by getting out of your house, especially after lockdown. You know, we spent so much time in the house. This is getting you out and about and making it interesting for people. So yeah, with that, I'd like to show you the app itself and I'll pass you over to Jay. Thank you.
Thanks, Heather. So yeah, I'm just going to walk you through the app demo here that we've got. So yeah, if you'd like to play that. We start off with our landing screen here, so you can choose to either sign in or create a new account and register up here with your email, username, and your password, which Ian is typing out now in our video demo. And here, very creatively blocking out the password in just a moment on the login screen. And then it drops onto our home screen here, as you can see, where you can scroll through a list of posts from your followers list, and can load even more here at the bottom. And you can see it's got geotags, hashtags, which you can follow for topics, and you can click on individual posts, which allows you to comment, see a larger version of it, and see all these creative comments here, such as Heather's one especially. And yeah, from there we can also bob back. You can refresh the page at the top. You can select one or more topics that you can actually browse through, or you can also go on the location tag here. So you can just look at particular locations if you want to search for a particular place you want to go to or anything like that. And that's pretty much it for the home page as it goes. Just one more post, one for the road. And then you can also go onto the map view, which is the kind of the USP of the project. So you can see individual marker tags on it. You can scroll in and out of it, and then you can kind of just go to wherever you want, scroll through the bottom, and they will actually link you to individual places on the map, and it will just drag it across there for you. There's a quick view of Ian's own profile. Got to love your own work. You can add your own topics from the top bar, so you can add a title, a description, and add your own photo, which can then show up on those little circular topic tags that we have. Classic. And then you can also add your own post from the same section there. So you can give a description. You can upload your own file. We realized that we didn't actually take a photo on this either, but you can also take photos. I promise you that does work. And then you can either drag the mark around on the map by moving it across on the map itself, or you can search for an individual location, which will then drop the pin there for you. You add your tags, one or more. And then once you've done that, you can carry on and post it. And then after it's loaded, and you see Doug's notification on Slack, then you can go back to the homepage, refresh it all, and then you've got your post there. So we've also got the browse page we can go on here, so you can see your popular users. So you can select that and then see the other users' profile, plus their posts and their friend list. And you can also go into your own profile, and you can edit your own profile pictures, your own profile details, and look for your own posts as well from here. From the search page, we can also go a little bit lower down, and there's also a separate browse section here that you can go off as well. And when you're done, you can log out of the app, put your phone down, and actually go out and look at the scenes that you're meant to be taking pictures of. And that's it for the Natureley app. And I'm going to pass over to Ian now, who's going to walk us through the tech stack that we use for this one.
So in our spiking phase, we looked at MongoDB, Socket.io, and Flutter. Flutter was disregarded due to it being a separate language, not being JavaScript-based, and with the time restraints, we decided that wasn't a good move. MongoDB and Socket would have been suitable for the project, but with the additional functionality that Firebase brought, we decided to go down that route instead. With regards to Firebase, we use Firebase authentication to handle user login and user registration. With regards to Firestore, we use that for collecting user data that we couldn't store in the authentication, such as profile images, where they lived, whatever else. We also stored post data, topics, and comments in the Firestore as well. Cloud storage we use primarily for for the post images, but it was also used for storing any additional user profile images that the user would upload when they change their mind. Backend APIs, we use Google Maps for the map API with Expo Maps on top of that. And we also use the Google Places API to take the longitude and latitude data and get real locations, not just coordinates. So for example, you take a 50 and a 50 and you'll get a near Northwich rather than a bunch of numbers. And yeah, that rounds up the backend. So I'll hand over to Salah and he will take you through the rest of it.
Thank you, Ian. For the backend, so working on this app was quite a great challenge. So it was the first time we built a mobile app. So there was a lot to learn in a short period of time. We knew that we wanted our app to work on both Android and iOS. So we pretty much, after searching around, we knew we had only two choices, either Flutter or React Native. Flutter was based on the programming language Dart, and React Native was based on JavaScript. So we were already familiar with how JavaScript works. So we went with React Native. React Native also had great documentation, which helped us a lot with building the project. Expo was a brilliant open source platform to get live updates while we're developing the app. That was good. It also took care of a lot of the configuration of the app, so we had more time to write code instead of dealing with configuration issues. React Native was also React Navigation, was also one of the great tools. It gave a user a nice and smooth navigation experience. And the documentations were quite challenging, but after a lot of experimentation, we got it to behave. The app obviously needed maps and geolocation and things like that. So we used Map View, and as Ian mentioned earlier, Google Maps and Google Geolocation to grab the user's data, location data, and store it in Firestore. This data was then used, as Ian said, to filter on the maps and locate the user's posts on the map. Camera features and uploading images were also enabled by React Native components, which are image picker and camera component. On Firebase, those were stored on the Firestore cloud. Finally, we used the React Native paper as it had amazing already built-in components with amazing styling. And after some experimentation, we were also able to customize them to give our app a unique look. And that's it for the front end. I'll pass now to Kat to talk you through the challenges we faced while.
Thanks, Salah. Like with any project, we've had challenges. So one of the main challenges that we had was sort of remote working. I'm sure everyone's experienced this during the pandemic, is having to adapt to not having people sat in a room together. We did this through communicating effectively through Zoom, Slack, using a Kanban board and having a daily stand up and stand down. So we're like updating the Trello board. It was the first time that a lot of us had worked together as a team. So we had regular team meetings and check-ins and just having a normal chat about anything really, which has meant that I think we've all become fast friends. And working with these new technologies, a lot of these technologies we hadn't encountered before. So this meant a lot of time using the documentation, watching YouTube videos, having demos between team members. In particular, React Navigation was something that we were a bit daunted by initially, but Salah wrapped his head around it very quickly and showed the rest of the team it, which was really, really helpful. Another challenge that we sort of faced was Git branching, so having merge conflicts due to different dependencies. We ended up updating our Trello board with the required dependencies for the app so that everyone could keep track of what everyone else was downloading. In terms of Git branching as well, me and Ian had a situation where I forgot to check out a branch and we ended up undoing the last work that we did for the past hour. we had to rewrite the code from memory, but we definitely never made that mistake ever again, because I think it slightly traumatized us. In terms of agile working practices, this is a new way of working for us, but pretty quickly we worked out a schedule of who was taking the stand-ups, which was really, really useful, and making sure that everyone had a turn to lead the stand-up and have that experience, and making sure that the Kanban board was the focus of our meetings. And I think we were all very, very excited about this project. So keeping in mind those realistic goals. So we had to sort of whittle down the ideas initially and set them into a realistic goal for our time scale. And we did this by keeping the sort of basic functionality of the app in the forefront of our mind, like what was the main selling point? And the main selling point for us was being able to tag those pictures to the map and having that as the sort of forefront of the app. And we definitely kept notes of those sort of nice to haves for the future. So I'm going to pass you over to Heather, who's going to talk a little bit more about those future plans for the app.
So in the future, obviously we only had 2 weeks to make this app. The first functionality we'd like is we had some like buttons and some delete buttons that had no functionality. So we'd love to add some functionality to them, be quick and easy. And obviously with the map and picture features, we'd love to add some kind of safety measures around there. Like we don't want to be sending people to the edge of a cliff, and we don't want to be sending people around to people's houses. So we'd love to add something to that. And just to moderate the pictures that are actually being posted to make sure they're about nature and nothing else. Another feature we'd love to add is a chat feature. So if you wanted to make like a group and go on a walk together as a group, you could do that through the app and go and look for some wild deer. But yeah, having said that, that's about it. So thank you for listening. And if you want to go to the last slide, we'd like to take any questions. Thank you.
That was